Welcome back. Today I wanted to talk to you about an adventure that I had last week. I am going to write a blog post about this as well. But last week I did something I've always wanted to do, and I went to a book club. Now, it's a little bit different because I'm not currently working. I decided that I wanted to go to a daytime book club, and I found one that's in one of the libraries that's in the same group of libraries that I joined the week before, and it started at 9. I was like, perfect. Oh, but am I going to have to read a book that I'll have to read in a real hurry? Am I going to have to read a book that I don't want to read? But I read all the details about it, and it was just members will talk about books they've read. So I rocked up at the library. I was real keen waiting for it to open, and the doors open at 9. I went up to the room. The room was just empty. It wasn't set up for anything. And so I waited outside the room like you would do a classroom, waiting to go in. Nobody turned up. 9:05, still nobody there. 9:10, still nobody there. By the time it got to 9:15, I was getting pretty angry because I was like, I've gone out of my way to get here. I'm all prepared. I was quite nervous about this, and now I've rocked up and there's nobody here, which is the kind of thing that you get really nervous about happening. So I went to ask one of the people that works in the library, and she was like, oh, they don't use that room. I was like, but it says on the outside the room that they use that room. It says on the website that they're in that room. And she was like, well, I can take you to where they are if you want. I was like, okay. And at this point, I was really worried because I thought, well, they'll have started talking already and I'll be walking in 15 minutes late. But she took me over. They were very welcoming. With it being a daytime book group, obviously, it wasn't people who are similar age to me or in a similar life position to me. It was mainly people who are retired, and they are all people who use the various libraries that are a member of this library group, and they told me about lots of other really good events that I can go to, so that's going to be good to be able to go to those other events as well. Basically, you go around the room and you talk about what you've been reading since they last met. As far as I know, they meet once a month. So the real thing that was surprising but really good for me was the fact that everybody had read really different types of things. So you had some people who'd read a mixture of fiction and non-fiction. You had some people who'd read some mystery, some people who'd read some crime, some people who'd read some YA, some people who'd read some saga. I think, my taste in books is quite defined. I don't tend to branch out an awful lot from what I know, but it was really good for me to hear about different books. There was one lady who'd read this massive book it was originally 3 parts. I can't remember what the book was. It sounded so heavy and dense and serious, and she sort of joked at the end of it that was all she'd managed to read this month. I was like, it's like 900,000 pages of book there, and it sounds like really dense subject matter, so that sounds okay to me. The lady who went before me was another audiobook lover, so that was really cool, and I sort of chatted to her about that as well. Obviously, being a book group in Denver, they were all keen to know where I was from, and I didn't sort of think beforehand that perhaps I should make sure that the book that I was talking about is available in America. But I kind of talked about a few things that I had read. I talked about On the Other Side. I talked about the Erin Lawless serial that I'm reading, because I'd just read the one with the wedding dress, the second part in the series, the night before. So I was telling them about that and how I love the fact that Erin gives you a cast of characters, because when you're reading one part to another, you kind of forget who's who. And they were very impressed with that. I said I didn't know if you could download it off of Amazon.com. And then I talked about they had kind of brought up a book which sounded quite similar to Rowan Coleman's We Are All Made of Stars. So I talked a little bit about that one because I know that that's definitely available. And I said that they should definitely check out Rowan Coleman because she had a lot of books released in the US, and it sounded like it would be books that they would like to read. But they were very welcoming, and I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be able to go to the second one because I might be on holiday because I've got a holiday booked in New York. But I did sort of say, I don't know if I'm going to be able to come to the second one, but it's not because I don't want to. I do want to come back and talk about the books, and this time I'm definitely going to make sure that I know that the books are available in the library or in the US before I go in and talk about them. But it was a real experience, and it was really nice to actually talk in person with other book lovers, because at the minute my kind of reading experience is quite isolated aside from talking to people on Twitter about it, whereas before I would talk to the children at school about what I was reading, and I would talk to other people at book events about what I was reading. But being where I am now, not being at school and not going to those book events in London, I don't feel like I can sort of talk to people in real life about it. So it was really nice to have that experience. And if you're going to, if you're sort of thinking about joining a book club, I think that aspect of it, just speaking to somebody else who's got an opinion about that book and wants to actively talk about that book with you, or even one of the book groups like I went to where you can just talk about whatever you've been reading. It's a completely valid discussion, and we ended up talking for 2 hours about the books that we've been reading, and it was just a really valuable experience. And I think that the fact that the library has so many of these book groups, and if I'd wanted to start one I could have done, which might be something that I want to do eventually, and yeah, I really applaud them for that, and it was an enjoyable experience, and I really do hope that I can go back. So I'm going to have another video for you very soon. I'm sorry there's been a big gap in the videos, but I hope you've been having a great time and enjoying what you were reading, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.